The western front has collapsed entirely, with the safety of everyone there, including Lynette, completely unknown, and we can only fear the worst. The only stronghold that Varia still retains is the country of Narvia, and the Empire is poised to strike the final dagger into the kingdom's heart. The destruction of Remagen Bridge has bought us time, but it will take only a month for the bridge to be repaired, and the Empire's final march will commence. Yet despite this, we can hardly prepare to fight the Empire as long as Bornea still remains hostile and poised to flank Narvia from the rear. Lord Vester is determined to reclaim Bornea, but with his father still in power and his men branded as traitors, he can hardly secure a foothold in his own homeland. There's only one ray of hope. The commander of the border fort is the Paladin Alvina, a brilliant strategist and righteous knight who still serves Bornea out of loyalty to Vester's father more so than the Empire. Vester believes that if he is given the opportunity to speak to her, he can convince Alvina to fight for us instead. Rhys then proposes a plan. The Sinnoh Knights will attack the fort head-on, giving Vester a chance to slip in amidst the chaos to contact her directly. So begins Chapter 10, A Paladin's Duty. Objective: allow Vester to speak with Alvina. At the end of this map, Alvina will join our army permanently. Though we won't get to play with her until the next map, we might as well spend some time talking about her now. Alvina is a solid Paladin unit, coming in with a set of fairly useful combat skills, but most importantly, joins us the personal spear Fall Shard, a spear with a brave effect. It's much needed for her since it can do a lot to help her middling accuracy. Aside from her poor hit rates, Alvina is an extremely solid unit with good bases. Despite the late join time, you'll find a lot of mileage out of her if you're somehow hurting for a standard spear-wielding cavalry unit. This map features 3 major challenges blocking your way. We will go through each of these accordingly. The first challenge also happens as soon as the map begins. You may find that immediately your forces are barely able to advance without being instantly killed. Your forces must start by crossing a 1 hex wide bridge into the fort, and this bridge happens to be the most well-defended bridge in the entire game. Past this 1 hex wide bridge are 2 armor knights with high power countering abilities, a single infantry archer behind them, and a horse archer a bit further away with 2 lance cavalry units. Both archer units here have sniper arrows, giving them a guaranteed hit against you thanks to the massive accuracy boost from these arrows. A ballista sits in the fort beside Alvina with enough range to cover about half of the field, and the raised priest sitting in the fort town can reach any of these units with Darkwind. The cherry on top of it all is that these units all have support, and they are boosting each other's accuracy while arranged in this formation. Trying to kill the armor knights will draw retaliation from archers, trying to attack at range will get you run down by the lance cavalry, slowly whittling them down will not work thanks to the priest, and trying hit and run with cavalry can get your cantle stuck due to taking counter damage. Even if you break through, the lance cavalry can try to charge you down regardless. It really is a frustrating layer of defense, and you may spend a lot of time on this bridge alone before being able to play the rest of the map. The solutions through here will be up to the robustness and tools offered by your team, and paying careful attention to the turn reel to see which of these units have moved and which have yet to take an action. Whatever methods you choose to fight through here with, make sure to do it fast and arrive at the actual town quickly, while avoiding the ballista from high above. The ballista has the active skill Aim to compensate for its lack of accuracy, so a unit with Arrowbane is highly recommended to draw its fire and tank through it. The town itself presents your second challenge of this map. While it initially looks like there are very few defenders here, in truth about half of the houses here have hidden enemies inside. Most of the hidden enemies are archers and crossbows, and they did not cheap out on their wares. Tripping into the overwatch of any of these units can inflict heavy damage to our units, potentially killing them outright in one hit. Some of them might even break their own covers and run at you from seemingly nowhere to take a shot. Around this time, Vester's men should be appearing. They spawn in the top right corner on turn 5 and will begin moving towards Alvina's position immediately. Stopping them in their tracks is a single door that they will break down. Each turn, Vester's men will do 20 damage to this 100 HP door, meaning they will get through by turn 10. Our tactics points are tied to their survival. All 3 points will be awarded if all of Vester's men survive, you lose 1 point if all of them dies, and lose 2 out of 3 points if more than 1 die. Vester's men will run to Alvina with zero concern for their safety, which means that we must clear the town completely before they break the door. The ballista at the rear of the town will prove to be a very annoying foe, but blindly charging into it will spell trouble thanks to all the ambushing archers. Your army must strike a fine balance between cautiously advancing, but also playing fast enough to stop the ballista fire before it deals irrecoverable damage to you. Just like with the ballista on the fort, arrowbang units will do a lot of work to help you push through. There are 6 things worth checking out in the town aside from the battle. First are the 2 shops. One of them is a standard magic shop that sells some orbs, and the other one is a material store that will sell a bag and 2 crafting materials, which we will always make the room to grab to complete the atelier. The sparkling house on the right can be searched to get a treasure after battling, and the final points of interest are the 3 side quests. The house in the middle can be investigated with anyone to trigger a fight to get the portrait, the house on the right should be investigated by Christine, and the graveyard should be investigated by Leon. Be warned, when Leon goes to clean the grave, make sure to clean the grave of Vedoro, and not sweep someone else's by mistake. The town should be cleared in tandem with side quest completion, and when it's all said and done, there remains the 3rd and final challenge to tackle, storming Alvina's fort. The ballista has been plaguing us since the start, and it's time for us to take it out. While you can continue to tank your way up with arrowbang, the road up to the ballista is conveniently paved by forests, allowing infantry archers to sneak their way up to the ballista as another avenue to dispatch it. Around this time, Vester's men should have broken through, so we should also hurry to protect them on their march. The fort is guarded by 2 doors on either side. Vester's men will, for some reason, choose to take the long way and attempt to break down the northern door. We can either follow them or choose to open the southern one instead. On their way up, they will no doubt be attacked by Almacus, the true boss of the map. As one of the 4 Dark Cardinals of the Empire, he packs a heavy enough punch to cleanly 2-shot any of Vester's knights. The fort itself is also guarded by sleep arrow archers and tanky armor knights, among other things. Fortunately, Almacus can be removed fairly quickly. As soon as either of the 2 doors open, Alvina will sound the retreat, and Almacus will leave the map as a result. Remember that we can use a thief to open the door instantly instead of resorting to breaking them down by force. If possible, run a thief up to the door and open it as fast as you can to take Almacus out of the map. With the doors open, we simply need to clear out the last few enemies. Alvina and her bodyguard Barnhart will now move out to attack you, but the same cannot be said for the others. Clear them out with whatever you have, and wait for Vester to approach Alvina to clear the map. As a fun aside, though Barnhart has no intention of fighting us, nothing is stopping us from kidnapping him to take his stuff for fun. Don't worry, Alvina won't actually mind. After the map completes, Alvina will be recruited into our army, and we are free to continue onto the side chapters. We're rapidly approaching the endgame, which means that from now on, the remaining side chapters all ramp up greatly in difficulty. We now begin to dive into some of Berwick Saga's most terrifying maps. See you soon.